Alright, so this is a video everyone keeps asking me to watch. The most unique summoner class in an ARPG, the Falconer reveal. I think we're supposed to see last Epoch's graphical updates as well. So we're going to kind of take a peek at this. Shout out to the boy Zizaran.
With max roll, I present the Falconer.
He must have actually got a Falcon for that because that looked like it was not a green screen moment. That looked real. Hog.
The Falconer is the final mastery coming to last Epoch, making its way to Terra on February 21st for the launch of the game. This subclass focuses on your feathery friend, who's the main driving force behind your skills as a rogue. If you enjoy raining death from above, besting your enemies with a sword, bow, or talon, and swiftly maneuvering the battlefield, the Falconer brings a completely new twist to minion gameplay.
So this is, what, a rogue minion type of class? Looks like a lot of AoE, at least so far.
In this video, we're going to show off the new skills and show off cool interactions from the Falconer. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the different archetypes that the Falconer offers, followed by showing off...
Is this actually the graphic update? Because it looks a little...
some builds that will have guides ready for launch.
Smoother.
You might also notice some graphical improvements in this video, because there's a lot of upgrades for launch.
I was going to say.
Let's have a quick look at the skills you unlock exclusively as a Falcon.
Hold on. Here we go. So, summons a Falcon that fights with you. Falcon strikes, rapidly hits any people in the area, throws a trap that explodes, throwing fire damage, 6 traps at a time, leap towards enemy. Your Falcon dives to catch you and momentarily carry you further. Okay, it's kind of like a movement speed. Give your minions an attack command. Leaps backwards and throws a net, which snares enemies. So these are like some pretty classic rogue-like abilities, like leap backwards, throw a net, throw a trap. I guess the Falcon's fairly unique. Falcon ascends high into the sky, then dive bombs the target. Okay.
We'll be going over these and their respective skill trees. But if you want a deep dive and more to chew on, head on over to Max Roll, linked below to find out more.
Shout out to Max Roll.
Keep in mind, these skills will unlock as you level. Your character automatically learns them after reaching certain thresholds in the Falconer passive tree. These skill showcases were provided by different Max Roll creators. You can find their Twitch channel on the screen during each skill showcase. I have not seen the Falconer at all, so this is also going to be my first look and my first impression to everything here.
Same!
First, we're going to look at Falconry, the skill that actually enables the Falcon. Bina, take it away.
Alright, so this is the Falcon from the Falconry skill. As you can see, as you walk by,
so it's a straight up minion.
Auto attacks everything.
It's like an actual straight up minion that goes with you too. A rogue with a minion. I don't know if I've ever seen a rogue with a minion before.
He is a minion and he is invulnerable to any attacks. So you don't have to worry about his survivability or anything like this. He also has access to an active skill, which you can see him dashing his way here through the enemies and killing everything in his path.
Some Sonic movement there.
This is obviously on a cooldown, so you won't be able to spam it, but there are ways to reduce its cooldown and being able to spam it even more. So basically, this is your Falcon friend, which is the main fantasy around the Falconer.
Okay.
To be able to use other skills, you also have to have the Falcon on your hotbar, as we'll see a little bit later, but this is the base ability of the Falcon.
So it's going to take one of your 5 spots.
So, Bina, are there any cool interactions that changes the skill a lot?
Yes, so your Falcon can actually use Acid Flask. So if you go to the left side of the tree here, you can actually see that there's Toxic Airdrop, and your Falcon now throws Acid Flask for you. Obviously,
cool.
This consumes your a portion of your mana cost for Acid.
That reminds me a lot of Poisonous Concoction from Path of Exile. I had a character that used that move. It visually kind of cool.
You can max this out, so you can throw even more. And then you can even grant him a chance to gain charges when you use Acid Flask. So finally, guys, an Acid Flask buff, and your Falcon has the chance to use it.
That's pretty cool.
Next up, we're going to look at Aial Assault with McFluffin.
Hey, thanks, Ziz. So Aial Assault is a new movement ability, and one of the really cool things about it is it's not your character moving, it's actually your Falcon moving you. So as you go throughout the world and you use Aial Assault, it'll actually pick you up and throw you in front of where you were, and it can actually throw you quite a long ways. And at the end of it, it will actually do a feather burst attack, so it'll do damage to enemies that are in front of you at the very end of the flight that you take, thanks to the bird.
And is there any like big things that we can change on this skill to make it have a different interaction?
Absolutely. So I am a huge fan of Shadow Daggers, and I play that probably more than anything else. And this actually gives us a new way to play a Shadow Dagger build. So if we go up here and we take Twilight Strike, we actually get access to Umbral Blades, which has...
It's one of the things I really like about Last Epoch from what I've learned about so far. Like I was doing with the Warpath Smite type of build. Your moves, you can build one move, and then you can have another move that sort of casts the other move. So it doesn't just feel like, okay, I'm building this one move, then I'm building this other move, and I'm just using both of them whenever I feel like it. Like the moves actually kind of weave together for the build, which is... That feels more unique than some other games. I haven't really seen that mechanic of one cast the other and they kind of mix together as much. I mean, even Path of Exile, like if I'm playing like Bone Shatter, I'm just really using Bone Shatter. Then all the other moves like support my character and keep me alive or movement or whatever. But this is one of the only ARPGs I've seen where they kind of link the moves together like that.
Has the ability to throw out blades at the same time when the feathers are being thrown out. But those can apply Shadow Daggers. On top of that, Aial Assault itself has a node that allows additional Shadow Daggers to be thrown out for even more damage. So this gives us a way to play another Shadow Dagger build that's now using the Falcon instead of the typical Blade Dancer. And it does a ton of damage, and you can see all the explosions going off here. And you can build Umbral Blades in different ways to make it spinning blades in front of it. And just allows for a ton of customization, even in that small little bit of the skill tree.
Next up, we're going to do Dive Bomb with Boardman.
Yeah, thanks, Ziz. Dive Bomb is the last skill that you get access to as the Falconer, and with it, it does a powerful AoE that does a single hit in a big area, allowing you to do great single target as well as clear out huge hordes of mobs that you can round up. One of the sweet things that you can get to do with the Falcon is it has great damage effectiveness, and you can also boost its damage by stacking a lot of your primary stat and by using bow attacks.
Pretty cool.
So how does this skill work? Do you target a location and it slams that location?
Yep, all you have to do is point your mouse where you want it to go, call it down, and it will fly from the sky.
So pretty standard
AoE.
AoE.
Big area.
Do you know what's the lowest you can get the cooldown to?
So the cooldown has a couple of interactions with other skills that actually replenish its cooldown and gives you cooldown recovery every time that you use like traps, for instance, and they explode. You can take off 4% of the remaining cooldown, so you can actually make it be reused really, really fast.
Wow. And is there any nodes on the skill tree we can take that changes this skill drastically as well?
Oh yes, it has a couple of synergies with other skills. For instance, if you go inside the skill tree, you can make it to you can target over here on the right side the decoy, and when you hit the decoy, you can make the decoy explode instantly when the Falcon blasts. So you actually have decoy, you can throw it out. Decoy will then call in all the enemies to target it, and then you can make it explode as soon as the enemies are close by with the dive bomb.
Okay.
And next up, we're going to see Explosive Trap by Vulcan, because the Falconer actually...
Traps are kind of... I don't know what it is about traps, but in almost any of the ARPGs I've played, I don't like trap gameplay. Like, I don't like throwing something on the ground and then they have to, like, walk on it to trigger it or whatever. I prefer just basically straight up doing damage or dot damage. I've just never really got into traps for me.
Really has individual skills that don't rely on the Falcon as well.
This is actually the first skill you can get by splitting into Falconer tree. So you only need 5 points on the Falconer tree to get this skill. It's like a classic trapper playstyle. You can actually do any of the elements
It's a lot of traps.
as a damage type with this. So you can do fire, cold, or lightning, or even all of those at once. So really cool, like a classic trapper playstyle.
So is that why the traps have different colors?
Yeah, exactly. So I have actually converted this, all of the elements at once. So cold, fire, and lightning.
I mean, it's moving pretty fast.
That's actually the way you can maximize the amount of traps you have at once, pretty much.
Yeah, it's quite a bit of range on a trap, so you get to like throw it ahead at least. So it's not like you're setting it on yourself.
So basically maximizing the DPS.
Is there any way to make this skill interact with the Falcon?
Yeah, so it can actually give pretty massive amount of buffs on the Falcon itself. So basically, you throw traps, and when they detonate, you get buffs on the Falcon.
So are there any big changes you can do in the skill to make the skill behave differently?
Yeah, so you can actually make this skill a bow skill with the blast train node here. So you spec the bow skill here, and then you can also get detonating arrow procs on the skill. So you're gonna be like a fully bow playstyle if you do this.
So you can shoot it from the bow. Okay, that's
like
way cooler. That's like Toxic Rain that we were just playing from Path of Exile. That is way cooler.
AoE. You have procs going like everywhere. Amazing playstyle.
Okay, that actually does look quite good.
The most fun I've had in
Am I playing this? Wow.
You can also do this without converting it to bow, but I mean, the bow just makes it so good, you know.
That's like explosive arrow on crack.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I was gonna start squirrel, but now I'm not 100% sure anymore.
Yeah, that actually looks way better than I was
And
thinking.
the Falconer also has utility skills. So next up, we're gonna show up the net ability with Tarek.
Yeah, so Net is going to be a very powerful supporting skill in order to control monsters. It basically immobilizes regular enemies and is going to also reduce the movement speed of rares and bosses. And as you can see, it also makes your character leap backward whenever you use it.
Are there any different ways we can make this skill completely different?
There is one particular way that is very interesting at the bottom of the tree here. Basically, you're going to convert the net into a trap. And from that trap, it's gonna use puncture. Interesting part about it is that you can actually use bow attacks with it. So it's actually like a range playstyle.
So are those caltrops that are falling down from the net?
This is also another part of the skill tree. Whenever you use net, is gonna throw caltrops where you use the
Okay, so it
the ability,
combos with
and
it.
it's also gonna use
So you
caltrops
slow them onto the caltrops. Okay.
where you aimed at. So it's kind of like leaving behind dot on the ground.
So now it's basically a clearing ability. As we've just learned, the Falconer offers loads of different playstyles. You don't have to just be a minion build, and you have loads of exclusive skills that you can't use otherwise, and cool interactions with other things. Next up, we're going to look at a build from Boardman, and this is something that'll have a max roll guide, and we'll have a separate video for this before launch, so make sure you check that out as well. Boardman, tell us a little bit about the build.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Ziz. This build's going to be using a lot of the Falconer abilities. We're going to have Aial Assault, we're going to have Dive Bomb, we're going to have Smoke Bomb to buff us with our defense, Falcon Strikes, and then we'll be throwing some Trap. Every time that we use Aial Assault, we'll leap forward, our Falcon will have a nice Feather Storm that he puts out there. We'll have Dive Bomb to come down and absolutely destroy enemies for single target in a necessary area.
And the graphics
And then when
do
you
look
really
better,
need,
though.
you can have Falcon Strikes go off, which is going to allow us to just have a bunch of attacks on a whole bunch of enemies in a small area. And then whenever you need to buff your Falcon, we can throw out traps, and every time a trap explodes, it's going to give penetration for our Falcon, allowing his damage to scale and get absolutely ridiculous. Due to Dive Bomb having really great damage, a lot of added damage effectiveness and scalars with it, single target is just as good as clearing, so you can go super fast if you just want to speedrun echoes, or if you want to
The
take out
Falcon's
bosses.
kind of funny, dude. Like, the way it, like, picks you up and carries you is... I don't know why, but it looks a little weird to me.
What's the tank on this build like?
It's very tanky. You even get to leech a portion of the damage that the Falcon is doing, and because it does so much damage, you can pretty much always count on a ton of leech coming in to keep you alive.
So Volka, show us more of the crazy bow build.
Yeah, so we're using...
This is the build I'm mostly interested in. I thought I was going to hate the traps, but the fact that you can just basically do it like Toxic Rain, that looks cool.
Explosive Trap as the main skill here. So proccing tons of detonating arrows and icicles from the Rain of Winter Bow. Otherwise, it's a classic bow playstyle, so, you know, using shift for movement and smoke bomb and some of these utility skills like shurikens for tankiness.
It's like auto
For full
casting
clarity,
these
the build we're
shots.
showing here is actually a marksman. This specs into the Falconer tree to gain access to its skills and passive perks.
Overall, really like strong DPS build. It's really squishy though, so you need to be basically just killing enemies before they kill you. Basically no defense. You don't really need any defense with this build, to be honest, because as you can see, the gameplay is just, well, kind of kind of absurd with the AoE and range. Maybe you could, of course, build some tankiness, but that's kind of the thing with
This one seems the best of all of them, because like the other ones, they look fun and all that, but this one is the one that seems like he's moving the smoothest with as little downtime with movement as possible.
It
I
doesn't
kind of like
really
this
have
one the
much
best.
options for like huge tankiness. You can get glancing blow and armor, but
He is really
of course,
fast.
HP, but you know, there's not that many options.
So can you walk me through all the skills you're using in the build and what they do?
Yeah, so explosive trap as a main skill, then that's gonna proc the detonating arrow. So we actually don't need to really use detonating arrow manually. So sometimes you need to use it for mana, basically just gaining mana on hit, and then shift for movement, and smoke bomb for basically just some tankiness, some crimson shroud stacks, glancing blow, and then decoy. You can use decoy for basically taunting enemies.
And I guess this build just has single target and farming. Like it's got it all except tank.
Yeah, exactly. It has everything except tanky. As you can see, let's pop this here. These enemies are usually pretty tanky. They basically die instantly.
clear, looks good.
So that marks the end of the Falconer showcase that we're bringing you here today. Make sure you go to Maxroll as well for a detailed breakdown. All in all, the class looks extremely promising, and it's starting a very unique way to approach the Summoner and Combat Heavy Hybrid class.
I don't think I was really like it. Normally I don't like these hunter style builds where you have like one pet, but the fact that the pet itself is like completely immune to damage, it doesn't seem like it's the focal point of the build. It just kind of complements your other skills. I might actually like the Falconer.
So we've never really seen it in an ARPG before in this way. And a huge thank you to all the Maxroll creators that helped show me this and make this an amazing video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it. The Falconer comes out February 21st with the full release of Last Epoch. I hope to see you on Terra, and a big thank you to 11 Hour Games for making an amazing video game and letting us show off the Falconer. And as
here we
always,
go.
die less than I do.
Oh, that's cool, man. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Right now, if this was where I'm at, it would just be pure snow. You wouldn't see anything. That looks gorgeous. Shout out to Zizaran. That actually looks awesome. All right, we got to give that one a like. Here, I'm going to put the link here. Check out his video. Ziz is kind of always pumping out the content, man. He's got a lot of videos out this week. What do you guys think? Falconer? How many of you guys are going to start with that?